Hi, Tan fans. It's Coach T here. I'm so glad to see you live tonight. Thank you for joining the webinar. I can't wait to share all this great information with you. And without further ado, I want to get to it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a detail on how this webinar is going to go. I'm going to say hi to you right now, of course. Here I am, live and well. And I'm going to go through the webinar with some slides and major information for you. And it's a long one. I want to make the best use of this time. It's going to be about half an hour to 45 minutes. And I'm going to leave some time for some question and answers if you have any. And after that, we can do a little bit of a chit chat. So I'm going to come back to you. So for now, get ready for the webinar. And here we go. The more you love, the best version of you comes out, the more you're going to love yourself. Being bad is easy. Being good takes way more work. But once you love yourself, every step of the way has enormous rewards and attracts the same towards you. That's life at another level. I divided this session into 6 categories, and I wanted to go through every single category with you, and there are some subcategories there as well. So I wanted to make sure you see a big picture of this, what's on the screen right now. I divided all the categories for you to see. It seems a little overwhelming at the time, but as I will go through it, you can take notes if you like to, but you're going to get the recorded version of this talk. So that's my gift to you, of course. So let's begin. Setting reasonable expectations. So what does that entail? Being perfect. Being perfect is a disease. It's procrastination, it's self-criticism, it's trying to be perfect. It's a journey that you can never get to. So being perfect is a road to travel that you're never going to get to. No one is perfect. No one's going to get to that level. I wanted to share a little bit of an example about myself. You know, how people want their perfect picture on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. I had a picture once with the amazing Keith Cunningham at an Anthony Robbins event just a few months ago. This man is a legend. He is a worldwide known man, and he's a multi-billionaire. He has hit the ground and made himself back up to the top again. And it was really overwhelming and really, really amazing for me to meet with him. At that moment, I asked his wife to take a picture of the two of us, and she snapped the photo. And once I looked at the photo, the lighting and all that did not look good. So I was actually debating to put that picture and share it with the rest of the world, to share it with everyone, because I was not looking perfect. I was not looking my best. The lighting wasn't right. Some of you may think it looks like an okay picture, but you know, as that comes along, it's a personal preference for all of us. I can tell you, you look amazing, and you might not even believe in it. So what I did right then and there, in that instant, I realized that I'm looking for perfection. So what I did right away is I posted it on Instagram, I posted it on Twitter, I posted it on Facebook, because it was the actual moment that I wanted to share. That was the most amazing moment that I had with this man, and it had nothing to do with how I look and whatnot and my own ideas of what perfection might be or not. The next one is comparison. That is a disease too. So you'll never be another version of someone else, but you can be the best version of you. It gets you off track on your goals, and by constantly looking at what others are doing, what is she doing, what is he doing, I don't know, is that better, is she looking better, is she more lean than me, is he more tall than me? So there's people who are always thinking this inside their head, and it's not going to get them anywhere, because that also comes from a disease called comparison. Every single one of us has a different DNA, and that's what makes us unique from one another. We are very, very unique individuals, and unfortunately with comparison, we can get that uniqueness out of us, and we just do not we get that uniqueness out of us, and we cannot get into that. So you have to own that uniqueness. So scanning people around to find their faults is one thing to do, but you also can find some people that you're grateful for, because the more you give, it's the more you have. So you have to stop comparing yourself with another, accept who you are, own it, and appreciate it. I love and appreciate how others succeed, and I love looking at beautiful women. For example, Bill Clinton they asked him once, what was the secret to his success? What made him Bill Clinton? What got him to this level? And he said when he was growing up, his mom had a major effect on that. And he said, because she always said, don't ever be jealous of anybody else. Be always happy for other people's success. Be always open to that, and be happy for other people who are doing way better than you. And that was his drive to do better as well. So he did not have these things, negative stoppers, as jealousy, as comparison, all that. So make sure you keep that in mind while you're going through that. So the next one is to be you. We all like a genuine person. We also can easily point out a person who's hiding something or hiding behind something. We can all point that person out on the street, here and there, in a party. Your true, honest self with you gives you full vulnerability. Guess what? Your vulnerability is your power. That's when anyone can hardly hurt you. I know this is hard to understand, but when you're off-centered, anyone can hurt you. When you're vulnerable, it doesn't mean, oh, I'm vulnerable, I'm crying, I'm in a bad place. It means that the things that you think that make you weak most of the time, if you own them and say, that's okay, I don't need to be perfect, this is part of me. Once you own that, that's your vulnerability. And when you own that, you own your vulnerability. So anyone hardly can hurt you or put you down. So keep that in mind. The next one is materialistic, being materialistic versus being spiritual. What does that mean? So a lot of people, let's say us girls, when we're not feeling ourselves or not feeling so well or whatnot, all of a sudden we want to go out shopping to make ourselves feel good. I even joke about with that. I joke with that about with my friends all the time. I say, hey, let's go for some retail therapy. But we're joking about it, and I actually don't go shop just to make something out of myself. I don't think labels and clothing and all the fuss that's out there with all the brand names is going to make me someone. I believe if I'm more spiritual versus being materialistic helps me. And how does that happen? The more you step away from the materialistic world, which is the shopping and all the stuff that's being forced onto you, like TV commercials and TV time, whenever you're sitting down, you got to cut that down too, is a world that is on the surface. You go beyond the world of loving yourself. So you're always thinking, what else should I have to add more to me? You definitely do not want to become these people on the screen. You definitely, that's not a good look on you, I'm pretty sure. And you definitely, when you look at these people, you don't think they love themselves. They're out there shopping like crazy, trying to get something that they don't even know they want or they need. They're just out there to get it because of what? Comparison. Another thing you can do while you're saving, while you're going through this materialistic versus spirituality adds to you, gives yourself more love. So what you can do is saving the environment. You can reuse stuff instead of going and constantly buying plastic because it says, I don't know, some kind of a bottle that is brand name or whatnot. You can get a glass bottle and fill that up and drink from that. You're not only helping the environment, and also you're helping with your own growth and contribution. Growth and contribution obviously adds more to us. It makes us really feel good about ourselves. So decluttering definitely feels better than buying. So it's going to make you feel better. So instead of going shopping and adding more on and on and on and on to what you already have. Try to eliminate, try to declutter, try to get out of that, try to simplify. The more you simplify your life, the more you recognize who you are. I'm not saying don't go shopping. I'm saying know what your purpose is behind that shopping. Did someone say you're going to be somebody with a label behind that? Or is it something you really liked or you really need that you're shopping for? So keep that in mind. Next one is one step at a time. So take life one step at a time. Do not pressure yourself. If you put yourself under pressure to make change happen now, this instant change needs to happen. For example, like losing weight and working out and all that. You got to be very gentle with yourself. For example, let's say you want to go out and say, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to have more muscles, or I want to be the manager of this company, so I'm going to have to take these certain steps to get there. You set certain goals for yourself and you do it. So you got to take it a step at a time. You got to give yourself that leeway that, okay, I will also be gentle with myself. I'm going to do this. Okay, if it doesn't happen in a month, it doesn't mean you're not capable. It doesn't mean you're not that person for that job, or you're not a girl or guy to lose that weight. You're not going to have that body ever. It does not mean that. It just means take it slow. Take it one step at a time. It will come. Just be patient. Next one is allow yourself to make mistakes. A lot of people punish themselves. They self-sabotage themselves. You got to allow yourself to make those mistakes, because I always say it, it's those mistakes. When you're at the very bottom, when you're hitting rock bottom especially, that's when you make the biggest decisions of your life to get back up. So it's okay to make those mistakes. They're the GPSs actually, to guide you towards your goal. You will fall down or get off track, but because you want your goal more than anything, as you're aware of the rewards of it and you're awakened, you will get back up. So do not self-criticize yourself. So make sure though, you set your goals ahead of time. And it's not just setting your goals and saying, well, I want to lose weight. Do a goal that also serves someone else. Like if you're losing weight, think about it this way. You're losing weight because you want to have a healthier life, because if you have a healthier life, you can serve the people you love better. So you make sure that you tread yourself slowly. Next one is releasing negative feelings. A lot of people, this is the second part, a lot of people hang on to negative feelings. They don't even know it, but they hang on to those. And the first thing to do for that is learn to let go of the past events. Letting go of the past events means what? It means forgiving those who caused those hardships in you. Like let's say you were in a relationship and the person you were in a relationship was not nice to you. You gotta let that go. Or letting go of the suffering. Tony Robbins, he always says, pain is inevitable. It happens to everyone. You fall down, you break your arm. That's a pain. Suffering is a choice. You choose to suffer for how long you suffer. So if you break your arm and it takes the time to heal, but then let's say a year later, 2 years later, you're like, I cannot do such and such because my arm broke. I cannot do such and such because my arm broke. And yet there are people around you who have no legs or arms and they're skiing or they're in Olympics. And what? If you need to compare yourself with those people. That's all I have to say about that. So let go of those sufferings and just understand the pain, and then that is easier for you to let go of the past events. Your lesson was in those experiences, so appreciate them. Look at the bright side of what I learned from them. Don't constantly repeat the same story over and over again and say, this is what happened to me, this is what he or she did to me, and victimize yourself. Take the experience from that and let it get you to your next level. Let that be a lesson for you to become a bigger person. Forgive yourself. A lot of people need to work on that. People forget to forgive themselves. They always work on forgiving other people. They forget to forgive themselves. Practice appreciation and understanding yourself. What's at stake if you don't forgive you? I'm not saying forgive yourself for something bad that you have, but sometimes you go into self-punishment. Well, I wasn't really nice either. Well, I wasn't there for my friend. That's why I lost her. So that you have to stop at some point and say, it did happen. What am I going to do with it now? I have the power to change that. So let me take that forgiveness and first and foremost, forgive myself and then move on. And imagine your life just the way it is for the rest of your life if you don't forgive yourself. If you don't forgive yourself, can you live with that? Is this the kind of life you want? Define yourself by your efforts, not your accomplishments. You tried, it didn't work. So you tried something, you wanted to accomplish something, and it did not work. I never knew what I wanted to do. My brother knew he wanted to be in business since he was a kid. My sister wanted to be in film and be a director and be all that. And I did not know what I'm on this life for. I did not know what my purpose in life was. And my parents were always throwing different ideas for me. Maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. My father is a famous sculptor, and our life has always been about arts, and we've been surrounded by that hill. So I was like, maybe that's a great place for me to start. And not very many people know this, but I have a bachelor in art history. In Islamic arts, I majored, and all of Europe and everything. So I have a bachelor in that. Then after a while, I realized, well, I'm very much a people's person, and this arts degree might not get me somewhere definite or whatnot. So not in Vancouver, at least. There are a lot of other cities that embrace that. But in Vancouver, because it's a new city and everything is starting to flourish just recently, back then, I realized that that's not a money-making thing for me. So I realized I need to switch it up a little bit. And I went back to university again, and I studied marketing. Once I got my marketing degree, I'm like, definitely this is something I need to do, because I'm sure it didn't feel quite like something I should do, but it sounded like it's something I should do. Because, hey, marketing is about people, it's about talking to people, it's schmoozing, it's socializing, and I'm all of that. Then marketing must be for me. And I do that for a while with different companies and all that. But then something happened. That was always in the back of my mind. And I got into a car accident, and I got off track, and I felt that was the worst time of my life, which happened to be the best time of my life, because then I realized I'm supposed to do more than just being a people, socializing with people and being a people person and doing social things. I am a person that needs to serve people. I was born in love. I was raised in love. And I'm not here just to keep that to myself. I'm here actually to deliver that. And through coaching, I learned that that's what I need to do. So I followed that. Also, Tony Robbins had a similar story. When he was choosing what he wants to do, he always thought he wanted to be a sportscaster, a sports newscaster. And he thought with his voice, with his getting out there, he can change athletes' life, the way he's going to describe them, how he's going to be there for them. So he's going to do that. And he got a lot of no's. He did apply for so many places. He did the effort. He did not accomplish, though. So as we said, define yourself by your efforts and not your accomplishment, because that's what he thought he's supposed to do. But he ended up standing on stage. I took this photo of him myself, and he's delivering to the world. And his voice was not meant to be a sportscaster. He was meant to get his voice out there, but it was just not what he thought it was supposed to be. Another thing is, sit in front of the mirror productively. Get acquainted with yourself again. By that, I mean not get acquainted by making faces at yourself in the mirror, but that I mean every day find something in the mirror that you love about you. There might have been a lot of times that you might have looked in the mirror and said, wow, I have chubby cheeks, my eyebrows are too thin, my chest is not wide enough. And I'm sure every single person goes through that, but what I mean is look in the mirror productively. Instead of looking for what you don't have, look at what you do have and start appreciating that about yourself and stop at that. Do not self-criticize yourself. While you're at it, a couple of compliments won't hurt either. So, hey, baby, you look great. Look at you hot to get out there. People are going to enjoy that face of yours. So something like that, voice it, put it out there in the universe, voice it out loud, and tell yourself who you really think you are, not what you're supposed to be or what you are, what they've told you you're supposed to be, what you look like, or what you're supposed to do out there, but tell yourself who you really think you are and go without screening it. Really be honest with yourself and be very complimentary. Stop saying bad things about yourself. What does that mean? Language is very important, so be very careful how you use it. I'm tired, I'm fat, I'm pissed off. You know what? I got up this morning and I'm exhausted. I had the worst week ever. I'm sure this weekend is going to be great. I'm going to go show up to my friends and it's going to be great, but I had the worst week ever. You don't understand how busy I was. I was so busy, I'm tired. This is the language people use all the time without realizing that this is becoming who they are. You become the language you use. So be very, very careful what you're using. It's okay if you're sitting with your friends or with your family and someone says, how are you doing? How was your day? Oh, you know, that situation didn't go bad. Or, you know, that girl really hurt me. It's an instant thing. It's in a story. But if you're using this language on a daily basis and you're describing your emotions on these levels, I'm tired, I'm fat, I'm pissed off, I'm bloated. Lately, I've been really bloated. I don't feel good in my clothing. This is going to become you. So watch your language. Embrace negatives and change them into positive. Your life is in your control. Remember that. Your life is in your control. You can change it right there on the spot without punishing yourself. So pick up where you left off, and this time more strong and determined than ever. So it's not someone to tell you, yeah, that happened to you, and I'm really sorry that that happened to you, and you stay there. You sit in that moment, and it's supposed to be actually a moment, not hours, not weeks, not months, not years. The negatives are supposed to be a flash in your life. So consider them as just that. It's a talent to be able to change things around. That's a talent. People who can't change things around, I don't think they're much talented. If they believe that they can't do it on their own, that's not a talent. If you can change things around, you will get the reward yourself. You will end up with that reward yourself because you say, I did it. I did that. No one believed I could do it. I didn't even believe I could do that. I went out and I did that. This is just a temporary state, and I don't have to beat myself for it, you say. What happened to me has made me less of a person, has not made me less of a person that I am. It does not make you less of a person. It actually makes you more of a person. It makes you grow into spirituality, into love, because you took a negative moment and changed it. You took that action. You just have to dig deep and be patient. The lesson is in the drive to another level of you. Next category, I hope you guys are following up with this. Keep up with me. We're going to keep going. As I said, take notes or not. Write your questions. I'm going to come back face to face with you again after this is done. So hang in there with me. Taking care of yourself. What does that entail? Nurture yourself. It doesn't mean sit at the table and eat your face off, of course. Nurturing yourself, I'm talking about your soul. I'm talking about giving that nurturing, the love to yourself. Love is not something that someone has to pour into you. Once you realize what it is and you're made of it, you're truly loved and blessed. It comes in many different shapes and forms throughout the day. So I'm sure you notice that you just have to be open to receive it. It could be a child smiling at you while you're walking on the street. Someone is holding the door for you when you're entering it. Two people are greeting each other and you're not even part of it, but you're watching from afar. That's love. You recognize it. You recognize that moment when people are smiling to each other and saying, thank you for that. So remember, love is not something that someone has to pour into you. You just can notice it on a daily basis, a little bit here, a little bit there, and there it is. Treat yourself like you treat your very best friends. I want the best from my friends, obviously. Love, relationship, their health, whatever I can do to help my friends, I do it. And I'm sure that's the kind of person you are. You want the best for your friends. My best friends know here are my best friends. There's a whole bunch of them, all of us smiling. These are amazing moments I've had recently with all my girls. And I have guy best friends too, but I just want to put the girly pictures up for now. My best friends know they're very special to me because I'm there, especially when things don't go right. So they know I treat them the way I do. It's genuine. And how do they know that? Because that's how I treat myself. What I give to them, how I treat them, they know, they see it on a daily basis that that's how I treat me. And I treat myself with a lot of care and love. So whatever they're receiving from me, it's exactly what they're receiving from myself to myself, and that's what they're receiving from me to them. So express yourself. The more you hide behind labels as, are you ready for this? I'm shy. Well, I'm not much of a speaker. I'm an introvert. I don't know. That's not me. I'm not that person. The more you're distancing yourself from who you truly are inside. So I give you an example. I always went around, I don't know how I developed this fear, but I always told people I'm really afraid of heights. I'm so afraid of heights. I could puke my guts out just thinking about being on a very high top place. And every time I got into a plane, I sweat till I got to the destination. I went on a ziplining trip with one of my girlfriends who's in one of those photos. And after I faced my own fear, I forced myself to be in that position because I knew that's not the label I want to give myself. That's not the person that I am. I did that and it was really, really scary. But now, every time I'm on top of a height of someplace, I'm not talking the CN Tower or anything, I'm not going there. But if I'm on a plane or anything, I realize that that fear comes from a fear of, I don't know, death or whatnot. And right away, I switch it around in that moment for myself. I'm like, you know what? If you're supposed to go, you're going to go even walking down the street. It might not be on a plane. So you might as well take your moment right now and enjoy this flight. I put my music on, I read my books and all that. So you can change that around. So by that, I mean, expressing yourself, it means do not label yourself. You're not a 2D or a 3D person. You have so many dimensions to you. Wrap your arms around that. And if you haven't done something and you think that's not you, try it first and see if that is you or not before you label yourself. So catch yourself when you're labeled. It makes you who you are. What I would suggest you is to write down a list of the person you want to be and use those words instead. They become part of you. As starters, as I said before, language becomes you. I use incantations for reasons, and my incantations are, that's what happens when I'm running every day, almost I run. And towards the end of my run, when I'm really pumped up and my heart is pounding out of my chest, I start screaming out on the street, which a lot of people turn around and look at me like I'm a crazy person. They look at me and I'm screaming out, I am courage, I am determination, I am love, I am faith, everything that I think I am, I scream it out without thinking that anybody's out there judging me, which I'm sure they are, but I really don't care. So Keep something like that in mind. You don't need to go out and run like a crazy person and scream out stuff like that. But it's something you can keep in mind and come up with your own version. Keep a journal. Put an intention to your day, like I will be open to kindness today. So that means you're going to be open to kindness, whether you give kindness or receive kindness. You don't know that. So keep it general. Don't say, today I will be very kind to anyone who comes across me. Somebody might come across you. That's not going to be very nice. It's going to be very hard for you to do. So if you're that person, good on you to take on that challenge. But I'm saying, just to start off gently, put something more general out there when you begin your day. I'm going to be open to love today. And see what you come up with at the end of the day, what you saw that represented love. Again, it's like that child, is the couple holding hands or whatnot. Write what needs to be done and finish your project, or start running, or call your coworkers or whatnot. You can also go back to a week, a month, or 6 months later and see what you achieved so much. People do forget easily. People forget what they've done. You might know by the end of this week that you had an amazing week and you did so much, but a month later, you might not remember how much you achieved. So keeping a journal is good for that, because when you're down and low and you didn't think you did much, going back to that will remind you of what you've done and how far you've gone. And write down what at the end of the day, what you achieved. Even if it's picking up your dry cleaning, it's still something you set out to do and you got it done. So it does count. Do what you love. Many people do what they think they're good at or pays well because another person is doing it, instead of doing what they love. Like some people I know, they're not very good at real estate, but all of a sudden they went and did the course. Oh, you can make so much money. The market is so good. They told me I need to do this. But do you like people? Do you like selling? Do you like going out there and showing around all this stuff? Well, I don't know, I can learn. No, that needs to be a part of you. So you must find what you actually do love doing. Don't think of it that it's going to pay the bills. I know that's a critical thing and you do need a backup plan for that. But while you're having that backup plan, think about what would make you wake up in the morning, even if you're having a really bad day, and smile and say, at least I'm doing what I love. And create that. That's a burning passion that's in you. Again, going back to me, become a coach was a little bit of an off track for me, because all of a sudden I dropped the glamorous marketing thing that I was doing, marketing job that I was doing, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I want to be a coach. And not very many people knew what coaching was. Oh, you're going to be a coach. And even in the coaching class itself, they said 1% of all coaches that graduate actually make it. And that's the moment I made that decision. I'm like, no, I'm in the right place for the first time in my life. And I'm going to make sure this happens no matter what. Again, it goes back to that specific DNA that we all have. And I want to use mine to the best of my ability. My dad, he's a sculptor. He's a world famous sculptor and he's internationally known. His works are all over the world in a Metropolitan Museum, Modern Art, Tate, British Museum. This man is very well known and he's one of my idols actually. And back in the 1960s, where everyone, it was harder back then also, even in Iran, everyone's becoming doctors and lawyers and business people and all that. My dad chose to be an artist, and people were thinking, well, is that going to pay your bills? What are you going to do? He knew that this was his passion, and he did whatever he could to succeed because he knew this was his path, and this is who he is as a result of it today. The fourth category is creating love. What do I mean by that? Creating love, I subdivided into different, two different categories, and one is believing in yourself. If you don't believe in you, who will? Sorry for yelling, but I had to wake you up a little bit. Only you can unleash the potential that's within you. No one else can unleash that. You're the only one who knows. There's that burning thing in you that you're pushing it down, or so many people say, I don't know what it is that I'm good at. I don't know what it is I'm very good at. It's because it's been dormant for so long. And that's why people usually say, find a coach or talk to someone that can help you get that out, because it is something, it may not be a hobby. And guess what? My art history background never faded from my life. It is now an amazing hobby of mine. I go to places that are full of art. I travel around places that I need to see the work of art and the architecture in those cities. So it never goes away. Don't worry about it. You're not losing a part of you. It's still there. You just need to have the other side of you drive you, to be the drive that makes you wake up in the morning happy, no matter what's going on around you. Only you can unleash that potential. Doubt and fear will come, but your recognition of it in that moment is crucial to turn it around and have a breakthrough, or many, in many people's cases. Write a little love note. So you got to give yourself a little love note here. I tell my clients to write on their mirrors, to put on the notes on the ceilings, write on your mirrors with a lipstick, or with if you're a guy, with a magic marker that can wash away later. Put a little note on your ceiling, or when you're falling down to sleep, or you're waking up in the morning. That's the first thing you see. One of my clients, I told her to write, I'm worth it. The meaning behind I'm worth it might mean something very different too than it means to my client. But for my client, writing down I'm worth it meant so much to wake up to and go to bed at, just to look at that. And it had a lot of definitions and meanings behind just those 3 words. So for you, it could be anything else that you're trying to fight, and you might not think that you have it, but you know it's there. You're afraid to bring it out, or you're afraid that you might be judged. Write out on the piece of paper, or write it on your mirror, a place where you brush your teeth every morning and you're looking in that mirror, and don't forget those good words I told you you're going to tell yourself, the compliments, and the note is there as well. If you're not into the mood that day and still sitting, it's going to sit in your subconscious. So if you're not in the mood to look at your note and you're like, whatever, I don't know if this is working with it, still looking at it, it still goes into your subconscious, and it will come through at the right time. You're going to notice it at some point. And the next category would be improving yourself. So practice receiving love. When someone pays you a compliment, wow, you look amazing. You've lost weight, haven't you? You look chiseled. You look, this is you. No, it's not. No, it's probably the dress. No, it's not me. No, it's you. You look good. No, you look good. No, you look good. Okay, take that in. Say thank you wholeheartedly. You are worth that compliment. They mean it. And even if they don't, and they're just saying it to you, so you give it back to them because they need it, still take it and give it back to them. Maybe they're the one who needs it more than you do. So take a compliment. It's good. Don't throw it back up into a space that it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to surprise the heck out of them. So do that. And it's going to make you feel really good. It's part of that growth. So own it. Next one would be practice saying no. What does that mean? Good thing I have you guys on mute. I'm the only one talking here. Listen up. When you say no to others, you're saying yes to yourself. And what does that mean? When you constantly say yes to others, it's because you want to be nice and giving. You find it that you're becoming bitter, exhausted, losing yourself in the process. And that's the time you need to stop. That's the time you need to stop saying yes to other people. For example, I love helping people. I love helping others with their problems. I help people with joy and out of the goodness of my heart. I even take phone calls in the middle of a party. If I feel like it, I'm taking that phone call Because if someone needs me at that moment, I can take 5 minutes and even enjoy that party way better after I hung up that phone. You can choose who you want to give to and more. Once I saw this on Oprah. It was a few years back and she still had her show. And she said, I've learned something and I want to share it with you. I've learned to say no. And what she meant by that is that once she became very famous and successful, a lot of people came out of the woodwork and asked for a lot of things. They asked for help. They wanted her to give this, give money, bring them on air, make them famous. And she said, I was running out on empty and I didn't know what to do. I felt like I'm getting family members that I never knew existed. And someone told her to practice saying no. When you practice saying no, it's maybe there's a lot of charity that you think you have to give to, but what did she do? She turned that around, started saying no to people who were demanding that of her, and she went and started her own charity and started saying yes to that. It doesn't mean when you say no, you don't do well, you're not going to give. You can give, but give it on your own terms. Give it when the funnel is full. Give it when you're not running on empty. If you're running on empty and you have nothing to give and you're exhausted, you're not really giving, and the other person knows. So when you're giving, when you're full and you walk away, it not only gratifies you to an amazing level, it actually does help them in a real sense. So keep that in mind. Be persistent. It takes time to build a habit and stick to it. So it takes 21 days, that's 3 weeks, to change a habit. People who think they want to stop drinking or they want to eat healthy or they want to lose weight, they think it's going to take months for them to get into that habit. It only takes 3 weeks to get into a habit. But you got to be persistent. Once you hit the 3-week mark, you can't say everything is different with everyone, like everybody's different. You can't say, well, I didn't lose the weight. It's not meant for me. I have to give that up. You have to be persistent. Say, this system might have worked for Lucy. This doesn't work for me. So I better go find something that actually does work for me and be persistent on that. Remember Tony Robbins and his voice with the news sportscaster and all that? He was persistent knowing that he's good at something, even though at the time it didn't seem like it. He did find that, but he found it in a different way. So be very persistent. Like anything else, if you're not in the habit of loving yourself fully, you have to give it time to. So don't give up on you. This is just the beginning, or you're in the middle of the way, or you already know the stuff that I'm talking about, and it's just a review to you and you had forgotten about it. So be persistent, keep these things in mind, but you got to keep it also in action. You got to keep it in your body. You got to keep doing it till it becomes a part of you. It has to become a habit. Do it so it becomes a part of you. As I say, remember, when you love you fully, you will keep getting further and further for more of the good stuff. So keep loving yourself. And the last but not least category is loving yourself through others. And what does that entail? That means treat others with love and respect. When you treat others with kind words and see them as another human being, you'll see the kindness and the love in yourself. For example, you walk into a party, there's obviously 1 or 2 people out there that people are keeping away from, saying, well, I don't know, what's up with her? She's got her nose up in the air. Oh, that guy thinks he's too good for everyone. I don't think I want to give time to talk to him or whatnot. So be the person that defies all that. What I always do is I always think that they are carrying something heavy. And instead of being just another person judging them, I actually like to walk up to them and smile or start off a conversation. And you don't believe it that within a few minutes, even seconds, the ice melts. Their body language changes. You can make a difference in someone else's lives. They're the ones in pain. They're the ones who are holding their guards up. So always look above that. It's not about you that they're keeping their nose up in there. They have no clue who you were until you walked in that room, or even before. If you even seen them so many times and that's the same attitude, you should be the different one. And once you're that, you're pouring that love back into yourself. Create goodwill and thankfulness by practicing random deeds of kindness. Be kind to yourself first, though. You have to be good to you. You can't be treating yourself with lack of sleep, not giving yourself the good health and nurturing, not surrounding yourself with good people, and think, okay, I'm going to go do something good for some bum on the street and give them money. That's going to bring me good stuff. You have to give yourself that kindness so you can recognize it. If someone else gives it to you, or when you're completely giving it away to someone else, so how it would fill you up even more. So make sure you remember that. Don't give the money away that you don't have. Do give it, be charitable, but not when you can't afford your own dinner. Again, there are some people who do that, and I'm sure they're aware what they're giving and where they're receiving on the other end. They might not know quite where they're receiving, but for people who are just doing this, they're giving their own dinner money away. That means they're running, and I'm using this as an example. So if you're giving your money away and you decide not to have dinner tonight, you're giving it away to someone who really needs it. That's actually very beautiful. But I'm using this as a symbolism. It doesn't have to be money. Be kind to those who are not nice to you. That makes you a teacher. When you're not being judgmental, when you're not criticizing another person, when you're not looking at them saying, wow, they have their nose up in the air, look at them, they think they have it all and they're not giving it to me, or that what am I wanting from them? I didn't do anything to them, and look at the attitude towards me. It's not about you. Be kind to them and become their teacher. Be that different person that walked into their life. Be the love that they may have never had. They might have seen glimpses of it, but you can actually show them and prove to them that it does exist. I was walking back with my girlfriends from club one night. We were at a birthday. It was about a couple of months ago. And this was about 2 a.m. And there's this young boy sitting in a bus stop. He was about 16 years old. He was kind of in and out of consciousness. He was intoxicated. I wasn't sure if he was on anything else. And we're walking by, and he's in a bus stop waiting for a bus, obviously. But something did not feel right to me. He's in a bus stop. He's in a safe place. It's in a good part of town. But then I thought, what would his mother be thinking right now? Is his mother worried that he's not home? What if that bus doesn't come? What if somebody walks by and they don't have the best of intentions and they think he has drugs or anything on them and they might hurt him? Within an instant, what I did, it was just dial a phone number. It was 911. That's all I did. And afterwards, when they arrived, we walked away. But that moment felt so good. So it doesn't necessarily need to be money for you to perform that act of random deeds of kindness. You don't need to take money for that. It actually sometimes is just a phone call. It's just a glance. It's just a smile to someone, maybe in a party. Know how to react in a healthy way. If someone throws a comment at you that is not pleasant, don't give him the same treatment. Hey, Tanner, you've gained weight since I saw you last, huh? Life is good to you. You've been eating a lot, huh? Oh, I guess you're not exercising much. I think if someone is telling me that, because they always say, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. But if someone is actually managing to say that, it's really not about me. It's something that they haven't done for themselves in their own lives. And they need to bring me that to that level to make themselves feel good about it, that they didn't do it. It has nothing to do with me. I might have not even gained. I might have even lost like a few pounds. But they use that. So don't give them the same treatment. I usually smile and say, I don't know, maybe it's the dress, but you look amazing yourself. What have you been doing? I guess, and then it changes their attitude right away. Don't stoop down to their level of pain. It's pain they're coming from, not love. And if you're coming from love, you won't turn around and judge them or throw that comment back at them. And while you're giving all this stuff to yourself and you're filled with love, you will recognize it more and more and more in every situation, in every corner of life. At the end of it all, it comes back to one person, and that's you. And so for that, I guess, ladies and gentlemen, that would be the recipe for loving yourselves. I have one last thought to give you, and that is, imagine what a self-love moment, hour, day, week, month, wrapped up as a gift can do in your life. How will you choose to live? And from here on, I can open the discussion. I'm going to come back to you and open the discussion to question and answers and whatnot. And here I am. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you so much again for joining in. If you have any questions that you might not have right now, send it to me via email. And I would love to write back to you. And thank you so much again for joining the webinar. Have an amazing night. And I'm going to see you on the Tan Fan YouTubes. What is it? Day after tomorrow. Yeah, it's coming up. So see you then. Have a great night's sleep.